came to the realization. So, Alexa, what are you thinking?
I think he's happy because he gets to see everybody come together and be happy and sing songs instead of like don't let them Stevie calling Gloria names or calling Otis names and doing Opal on them like big ball babies, twins or something. So I think that's why instead of seeing also Amanda being all pinch-faced.
So he started to see a change in people. He's happy to see that, right? Everyone together. Good.
Yeah.
Chen, what do you think?
I have a question. Which book are we gonna read next?
Okay, let's stick with Because of Winn-Dixie right now. Okay, so we were talking about the why he smiled big. Okay, and I think we started to touch on it. I like the idea that everyone's organized, everyone's together, right? So, okay, so Yusuf, go ahead.
Maybe because they found Winn-Dixie.
Okay, that made him happy. That would make him happy, right? They found Winn-Dixie. Yep. Yep. Good. Who else has a thought? I think what Terrell was touching on was the key. Okay, I think what Terrell was touching on was the key. That indeed they realized that she wasn't coming back. And when it's like anything, when you accept something, that changes the way you look at things. Okay, so yes, he hoped and he wanted his wife to come back and Opal's mother to come back, and he really, but he began to accept that after these years, she's not coming back, and he can move forward and he can move on, and not be so like a turtle in his shell, and not be just so utterly focused on being a preacher and not being Opal's dad. Once that came and he's able to relax and open up, and as he and Opal together can grow together, can heal together this pain that they have. And that's a life lesson, guys. When we begin to accept things that we didn't want to accept, we can then, in turn, begin to heal, begin to move forward in our life, and not look backwards, okay? Because it's awfully hard when you look backwards. We don't want to look backwards. We want to look forwards, okay? So that's what that is telling us. Terrell, go ahead.
I think I know why he's smiling, because he just wants to be alone with Opal and Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely got that feeling of he's got his daughter and the dog and Opal and Winn-Dixie, and he's smiling because he has them, and she's so important to him, and then he's beginning to welcome everybody else into his life, right? All the other people into his life. So as he's moving forward, very nice. All right, so that's an awesome job. I will be posting, and it'll be pop up for you later. Just a little wrap up activity for Because of Winn-Dixie. Okay, just a little wrap up activity. Okay, that you can do, and I know that I posted the last few chapters, stuff you can look back in, think about the story. Okay, so a little bit of a wrap up activity. So we're going to take a pause from that. Okay, I'm going to stop spotlighting for the moment. Okay, because I spotlight because I see, so you're focused on me and not on each other's silliness as I'm watching people be silly in their cameras. Yeah, because I see, So I thought we'd take a little sidestep here, and I have ready for you. Where'd it go? Here we go. So, here we go. Where'd you guys go? You guys disappeared on me. Why are you leaving me like that? Huh? Why are you leaving me like that? So, here we've got a screen. On my screen, I've got a map of the United States, okay? And our map of the United States, okay, this is a map that talks about what's happening right now. And it's the presidential election, okay? And we see all of our states lined up here. And this is what's called the Electoral College map. You see all these numbers here, 12 and 7, 55 and 3 and 4 and 6 and 11 and looks like 6 and 3 and 9 and 5 and 38 and 7. So as each state turns in their votes, okay, there are these Electoral College votes, and they're votes that are provided by people in those states. They're chosen people. And these votes go to whomever wins the most votes in that state, okay? Whomever wins the most votes in that state. So here's California. If you get the most votes in California, you'll get 55 votes. So the presidents are trying to get up to a magic number of 270 votes. So you add up all the different votes you get, all the different states, and their number of votes. And if you get to 270 votes, you win. Okay? So 4 years ago, the people voted, and Hillary Clinton won the vote of the people. When they call that the popular vote. She won the vote of the people, but Donald Trump got 270 Electoral College votes. What that means is the states that he won, even though he didn't, the majority of the people didn't vote for him, he won enough of these states and they got enough of these points to get 270. And that's what's going on right now in our election, where they're counting the votes to get the Electoral College votes. So right now, for instance, they're looking at Pennsylvania right here. Those 20 votes, those 20 Electoral College votes, okay, are important. Okay, those 20 Electoral College votes are important. Okay, we're also looking at Georgia, these 16 Electoral College votes. Arizona, these 11 Electoral College votes. Nevada, these 6 Electoral College votes. Okay, and they're looking to see who's going to win these states. And if Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania, he gets those 20 votes. If Joe Biden wins Pennsylvania, he gets those 20 votes. Okay, so that's why they're looking, and so this is why you'll see the maps all blue and red, because they're telling you who won what states and those number of votes. So that's what this CNN 10 is going to tell us about. Okay? And I'm going to stop sharing so that I can, instead of linking through there, I'm going to pull it up. Yusuf, go ahead. Yusuf, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes, sir.
I want to say something.
Don't jump the ball. Don't jump Biden.
All right. Well, thank you for your input. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to watch this CNN 10 video.
Hi, I'm Paul Elise. Welcome to this presidential election edition CNN 10. What we know, what we don't know, what we expect in the days ahead. We'll start with what we know. It's close. No landslides here in the presidential race. When we assembled this show in the overnight hours, a winner had not been declared yet. The election results hinged on 10 states: Alaska, Arizona, Georgia, Hawaii, Maine, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. In the popular vote, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden was leading Republican incumbent President Donald Trump. But it's the electoral vote that counts, the magic number of 270 of those that determine the presidency, and those results came down to the states I mentioned. They were still unknown Tuesday night. At 12:42 a.m., Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden addressed supporters at a drive-in event in Wilmington, Delaware.
Good evening. Your patience is commendable. We knew this was going to go long, but who knew we're going to go into maybe tomorrow morning, maybe even longer. But look, we feel good about where we are. We really do. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election. We knew because of the unprecedented early vote, the mail-in vote, it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted, every ballot is counted.
At 2:22 a.m., Republican incumbent President Donald Trump addressed supporters at the White House in Washington, D.C.
I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major threat on our nation. We want law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list. Okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this. And as far as I'm concerned, we already won. So I just want to thank you.
So legal challenges to election results are expected. How much will mail-in ballots factor in? What will be the new makeup of the Senate and House of Representatives? These are also questions to be answered in the days ahead. As another CNN anchor put it, this is not a 90-minute thriller. It's like a 10-part miniseries. All of this was constantly being updated as we put this show together late last night. And CNN.com will have the latest news and results concerning the 2020 U.S. presidential election.
Electoral College. It's simpler than regular college. It's actually the name of a group of people who choose the U.S. president. Why them and not just citizens through a popular vote? Well, some of the founding fathers weren't completely comfortable with a direct election by the people. They wanted to buffer or limit that. They didn't think the average American was really in tune with politics. Electors, on the other hand, are all over it.
I need your vote.
Here's how the system works. Each state gets a certain number of electoral votes. The more people who live in a state, the more electoral votes it gets. Take California, most populous state in the nation, 55 electoral votes. South Dakota, 3. Not many, but it doesn't have nearly as many residents as the Golden State. Now, every state but Maine and Nebraska has a winner-take-all election system. That means whoever wins the state's popular vote wins all of its electoral votes. What kinds of numbers are we talking? Well, there are 538 electors in the Electoral College, so you need just over half of them, 270, to win the election. But you can't just win the top 5 states with the most electoral votes. In a close contest between 2 candidates, every electoral vote counts. And here's where it gets tricky. The Electoral College is supposed to reflect what most Americans want. But it is possible for a candidate to win the popular vote and lose the Electoral College and therefore the election. former Vice President Al Gore, for example, won the popular vote in 2000, but lost the Electoral College and the election. Same thing happened in 1876 to Samuel J. Tilden and 8 over Cleveland. Did some folks get mad at the college? Uh-huh. But despite hundreds of proposals to change that or get rid of it, it hasn't happened, in part because it allows smaller states to still have some power in an election, and because it would take changing the U.S. Constitution.
Okay, another story making headlines today. Hurricane Ada, a very powerful Category 4 storm, made landfall in the Central American nation of Nicaragua on Tuesday. This is what it looked like as it approached the coast. Hurricane Ada was a relatively slow-moving storm that could bring the worst flooding Nicaragua had seen since Hurricane Mitch struck there in 1998. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says deadly conditions could remain in the region for days because Ada's rains could cause landslides, river flooding, and flash flooding, which can occur within a few hours of heavy rainfall. Nicaragua is the poorest nation in Central America, according to the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. It estimates almost 30% of Nicaraguans live below the poverty line. A Catholic priest who lived to the coastal city of Puerto Cabezas said some houses there are made of wood and adobe, a type of clay. He told the Reuters news agency that's the city's main weakness. Even before Hurricane Ada hit, roofs were reportedly being ripped off homes. Puerto Cabezas had lost power and its storm shelters were filled up. Besides its wind speeds of around 145 miles per hour, the storm was predicted to bring a major storm surge, a rise in seawater levels blown ashore by a hurricane. Forecasters said they could be as much as 21 feet higher than the normal tide, so their effects could be catastrophic for coastal Nicaragua and neighboring Honduras. Hurricane Ada is the 28th named storm of this year's Atlantic hurricane season. That ties the record set in 2005. Weather agencies counted 27 storms that year, but the National Hurricane Center decided that after the 2005 season was over, there was a 28th storm that should have been named but wasn't. So this officially ties the 28 storms named in 2005. 10-second trivia. Which of these World Heritage Sites was built the most recently? Machu Picchu, Great Wall of China, Chichen Itza, or Notre Dame Cathedral? Dating to the 15th century, Machu Picchu is the youngest site on this list.
Esto va a ser un retorno progresivo, es decir, va a ser poco a poco. Primero los locales, ¿no? Luego los nacionales y a un futuro ya el respectivo.
All right, so that was just, I thought that was interesting because as we're talking about the election, as we see the election happening around us in our country, just to give information about how the president is chosen. So it's interesting because, you know, when they tell you your vote, every vote counts, and then you see that you have presidents elected not by the people, but by the Electoral College. And you saw in 4 years ago, the current president that we have, that's exactly what happened. So his opponent did not won the popular vote. The people voted for his opponent, but the Electoral College voted for him because of the states that he won. So it makes you stop and think. And then as we learn about why it was decided, why the Electoral College was created by Benjamin Franklin and George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, all these politicians that are called our forefathers who started our country, all decided that, yeah, we don't really trust the people, so we're going to really make the decision for them. So you do need to vote because your vote counts. I'm sorry, I don't know who's shouting at me. Please don't shout out. Your vote counts because your vote counts towards the state electoral college. So if you don't vote, then your vote isn't going to go to helping make the decision that you want the electorates to vote in your. The more people go out and vote, the better chance you have. So if nobody went out and voted, how are they going to have a say? So you have to go out and make your vote and to tell the electoral college members for our state, hey, this is who we want. And in the states, they vote. Their vote goes to the candidate that the majority choose in that state. But our president is not specifically chosen by the people. Okay, again, I think the last election, President Trump's opponent had 3 million more votes than he did. So if it's a true, the votes count, then his opponent should be the president. But the Electoral College said, nope, he won these states, these states, these states. He got more points, so then he wins. And that's the way our system works. So just a little information. All right, guys, it is 9:25. You have been killing it since 8 o'clock this morning. All right, so we're going to go to, we'll give you a good 15 minutes. That would make it 9:40, okay? 9:40, take a break. At 9:40, we'll come back, and we'll start math. Musa, go ahead. You have a question?
My dad, he just came back from England, and he got you a Chelsea thing. Is there a way to drop it off for you? We can get it to you.
Your dad is so kind. I can't even thank him enough. Let me see. Maybe I can reach out to you. Maybe that would be easier. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'll contact your folks later today. Okay?
Okay.
And maybe I can come to you. That might be easier.
Mm-hmm.
All right? All right. Your dad is, you guys are way too kind. That is too sweet. I can't even, thank you doesn't even cut it, but I'll just say thank you. Alexa.
So, you said that we're going to do a science star test, right?
Well, I'm going to start having to put science questions and things to like into our routine. So we do a little bit at a time, a little bit. So we're
when are we
preparing
going
for
to
the
do science?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be science like you're thinking, like right now, like we're doing social studies. Right now, I'm just going to put questions in for us to talk about.
Okay.
And then work to that other step where we may have to watch these WCNY videos that we kind of aren't watching, right? Because they're covering some of this stuff. All right?
All right.
And I just found that out this week, so I hadn't even planned. I have no like specific things put together yet.
Okay.
Okay? All right, Chen Yi, go ahead.
Can we go?
Yeah, now that it's 9:27, I'll give you till 9:45. How's that? All right?
Okay.
All right. Have a nice break, guys.